Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and the Pokemon economy has changed a lot over the past 1 year or so. And the last time I made a video on this topic was in February of 2022, so it's safe to say this needs to be revisited. Welcome to my updated guide on how to spend your first 1 million Pokeyen within PokeMMO. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys, it is very important to spend your first 1 million reinvesting it to make more Pokeyen in the future. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. My handy dandy Windows calculator on the bottom left corner of your screen is going to help us keep track of everything today as well. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. First things first, a lot of the items have not changed. Some of them have, some of them haven't. One of the biggest ones that has not is actually gym rerun Typhlosions in a basic gym rerun team. If I were a new player in PokeMMO and I had about 2 to 3 regions done, including Unova, Kanto, and Hoenn, I would go ahead and immediately pick up a gym rerun Typhlosion, especially if you have 5 regions done. If you don't have at least Unova done yet, if you get Unova done, I would honestly go ahead and still build this, or even start preparing this for when you do have Unova and other regions done. If you aren't familiar with gym reruns, it is the best consistent Pokeyen in PokeMMO. You can make anywhere from 250k to 350k profit every single day within 1 hour. Every 18 hours there is a cooldown on it, but it's some of the best consistent Pokeyen you can make in the game. If I were a new player, I would go ahead and buy these 2 Typhlosions on the market. This is obviously going to change and adjust depending on what's for sale that day, but looking for a level 80, here's my search, for example, level 80 minimum, 31 attack, 31 speed, and you're looking for modest, mild, or rash. Ignore these timid ones. You don't need extra speed. You want modest, mild, or rash. Any nature that buffs the plus special attack of the Pokemon while not hurting its speed. You do want to avoid quiet. And then I have plenty of guides and videos that cover how to actually do these gym runs, which should either be linked in the description or will be on my channel. Now, this is going to be what? 330,000 Pokeyen. That is already over a quarter of our first billion Pokeyen spent, but it is the most important Pokeyen you will ever spend. Once again, a gym run is going to make you at least 250,000 Pokeyen profit generally. So you're making back this money in a day and a half. In less than 2 gym runs, you are making back your Pokeyen. And the 2 Typhlosions almost represent the entire team, but you do need a few other things. You also are going to want yourself a Cottony with Prankster and Tailwind. And you want that Cottony to have absolutely awful stats. You do not care about its stats at all. You want to look for Tailwind and then go down to has ability and look for Prankster. It's going to skip all the nonsense and help make sure you find a proper Whimsicott or Cottony. And as you can see here, they're not as cheap as they used to be honest with you. Now, you could go ahead and buy a Prankster, Whimsicott, or Cottony. Let's actually get rid of Tailwind. Just search for any of them. That would be 6,000 Pokeyen. The stats are irrelevant. And then go buy yourself, I believe, a Tailwind TM. Let's go see. Those are 9k. So you could actually save a little bit of money right there. You could buy this for 6k, go buy this for 9k. That's only going to cost you 15k as opposed to the other one being 20k. Now this one is high level though, so you would want to breed it down. If that is something you're looking for, you want a low level Pokemon for this. So you could also go buy this one that's lower level for 10k and then buy the TM for it save 1k. I'm going to go ahead and just assume that you're paying about 20,000 Pokeyen for a gym rerun Cottony. It is important. It can also be a Cottony or a Whimsicott, it doesn't matter which one. You just want it to be low level, have low stats, and set up Tailwind at the start of the fight and then have it sacrifice itself. Next up, you want a Torkoal with Drought. So you're going to go to Advanced Search, go down to Has Ability, look up Drought, type Torkoal up here in the search bar, and just buy the cheapest one. That is low level. Ideally, once again, low level and low stats are preferred. But you can really get away with a few things here. I'm going to go ahead and count this as 6,000 Pokeyen being spent for our Torkoal. And that 356,000 Pokeyen you see in the bottom left-hand corner is our entire gym rerun team. You do need at least 2 Charcoals, but you should be able to get these for free during the storyline runs. I'm going to count them just in case because I'd rather you guys have leftover Pokeyen than watch my video and not be able to buy all the stuff that I'm buying here. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate this as 6,000 more Pokeyen spent. So it's 362,000 Pokeyen for our entire gym rerun team. It is ideal to upload or upgrade these Charcoals over to choice specs in the future, but having them be Charcoals for now is totally fine. If you can afford the choice specs, go for it. There are certain gyms you might struggle with without the choice specs, like Misty in Kanto and then the Oplucid City gym in Unova. I would go ahead and skip those in your early gym runs. All right, but we still have about 750,000 Pokeyen to spend to make more money. What do we get next? Now, here's where things get a little crazy, because next up, you're actually going to want to buy a trainer rerun Articuno, and that shows you a lot about how things have changed within PokeMMO. An Articuno being used in PVM, that's something we didn't expect 2 years ago when these were actually added to the game for the very first time. I recommend looking for an Articuno with as high physical attack and as high speed as possible. I found this one for 325,000 Pokeyen with 27 attack and then 31 speed. What I would do is I would go ahead and buy this Articuno right here for 325,000 Pokeyen. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to my calculator right now. And we're not done. We do have to fix this Articuno. So the main thing we have to do is change its nature. 27 attack will do fine for the time being. We do want to go ahead and get an adamant nature herb, which thankfully are still pretty cheap these days. These might go up in the future, but currently they're about 10,000 Pokeyen. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy one of those. That's going to cost me 10,000 Pokeyen, put me at about 700,000 Pokeyen spent. You can buy elemental orbs to raise this 27 attack up to 31, but 27 attack is plenty. I'm not going to worry about that for this video, but in the future, it is an upgrade to look out for. Now, something you do absolutely need to make this Articuno properly work is a loaded dice. This is going to allow its Icicle Spear to hit 4 to 5 times, and do maximum damage and do trainer reruns with it, while also farming elemental orbs during those trainer reruns. Doing trainer reruns with Articuno, you end up making around 240 to 260,000 Pokeyen per hour. If you get super lucky, you can do 280k, but I would say around 250,000 Pokeyen per hour on average, versus trainer reruns with Cloyster, you're making about 200k to 220. So Articuno is the new strat confirmed. And loaded die is going to add 45,000 Pokeyen to our cost so far, putting us up to 742,000 Pokeyen. Now, next up, we need a few amulet coins to go and actually get started on making Pokeyen. And thankfully, to make your Pokeyen back to really start farming, you only need 1 or 2 amulet coins to get started. So I'm just going to calc this at plus 43k, and that's going to represent me buying 2 amulet coins, 1 for my daily gym rerun and 1 for my train rerun, which you can do every 6 hours if you want to. So we are now at almost 800,000 Pokeyen spent. However, with these 2 methods that we've already purchased, we can make 500,000 Pokeyen a day or more every single day with only 2 hours of work. All right, now we have our main money makers out of the way that we will do every single day. Let's go ahead and flesh out our account a little bit and get some other important utility Pokemon. First things first. So yes, we've spent 785,000 Pokeyen, but you're making 500k a day back in pure yen as well. You don't have to wait for anything to sell or even know how to sell things. We need to get ourselves a good catching Breloom. And the main problem with catching Breloons is that they get really expensive at high levels. There's a bunch of really good budget options here. You can see this Jolly one for 20,000 Pokeyen, these 2 Adamant ones for 35k. If we change this to Shroomish and we search for 25 plus attack, 25 plus speed, which are the 2 stats you're looking for, and then look for the first one with good nature, you're looking for plus attacks like this, Lonely. This Shroomish would be an amazing catching Breloom for only 5,000 Pokeyen. The problem with this, and it's up to you, if I were a new player, I probably would go ahead and buy this low-level Shroomish. I think it's better to use your Pokeyen wisely when you're a newer player, but just know you are going to have to spend a lot of time XP training this Pokemon. Breloom is one of the most annoying Pokemon in all of PokeMMO, one of the slowest Pokemon to level 100, and I'll show you why. I actually have one over in my inventory, so it's a perfect example. So let's go ahead and show you a different Pokemon like Smeargle. Level 100 Smeargle takes 800,000 XP to get there. Okay, that's a little bit less than average. The average Pokemon takes around 1 million XP. A legendary Pokemon like Zapdos takes a bit more XP, 1.25 million to get to level 100. Okay, that's like a 25% increase from Smeargle to Zapdos. So Zapdos takes like 25% more XP training. Surely Breloom isn't more than legendary. Okay, so Breloom takes 1.64 million experience to get to level 100. That is double, more than double the experience to get a level 100 Smeargle. If you want to start off with getting a catching Smeargle, you can. However, a catching Breloom is much better. Smeargles are also very important. Do not get me wrong. I have plenty of videos that show you how to build Smeargles within PokeMMO. Catching Smeargles are fantastic for utility and flexibility. You can put different random moves on them, any moves you want, right? It's a Smeargle. That's his whole shtick. You can do 8 gems, but Breloom's stats are just so much better as a catching Pokemon. You do not have to have a perfect Breloom. As you can see, this is my catching Breloom, and you should get a better one than me. I've just had this since 2021, and it honestly works perfectly fine. So if you want to follow suit, you absolutely can, but I should have upgraded this a few years ago. I'm just kind of lazy. But you do want to get yourself a decent Breloom. So let's go ahead and go double check. Let's go over and look for 20 plus attack, 20 plus speed. And this is even searching for adamant nature, so you can get yourself a really good Shroomish for really cheap. But this is, once again, this is where it comes down to, do you want to spend less Pokeyen and get yourself a really cheap Shroomish, or do you want to bite the bullets? Do you have extra Pokeyen? Can you spend extra Pokeyen and just go ahead and get yourself a level 100 Breloom? Because if you want to, it's going to be very, very expensive. You can also do this as a money maker. If you are a new player, you can go buy those Shroomishes for 5,000 Pokeyen, EV train them in attack and speed, and then XP train them all the way up to level 100 and sell them for 200k. Now, don't get tricked, okay? That price gap is so big, it's so large, it's such a good, you know, return on investment. Be able to spend 5k and get 200k is so crazy, because these will take a very long time to train. These will probably take 3 to 6 hours to XP train, depending on how many XP charms you use, you know, depending on your strategies. So I don't want new players to get tricked by that, but if you're willing, if you have free time, if you're willing to put in the work, if you know that you're a grinder, it's totally valid to maybe go ahead and XP train some of these and EV train some of these up for a profit. But I'm warning you now, it is very, very slow. I think a good option to look out for is level 65 plus Brelooms. There are alpha Breloom spawns, so you actually can find some decently high level Brelooms like this. 20 plus attack, 31 speed, adamant nature, 68k. This one's even better. 29 attack, adamant nature, 31 speed, 68k. Get these. Look out for these alpha Brelooms. That's going to save you a lot of time on that XP training. You are going to want to eventually ability pill this for 35,000 Pokeyen and change it to poison heal, but you don't need to do that for a while. So it's honestly totally fine. We see another Breloom. This one has poison, okay, no poison heal. If you see some of these that might have it, you could check them out. But yeah, I would get one of these level 70 ones. You can use your advanced search to lower the minimum level and look out for these Pokemon and find a good deal that will also save you some time. So I'm going to assume that you're paying around, let's say, 70,000 Pokeyen for these. I'm gonna go ahead and add that over to my calculator, plus 70,000 Pokeyen, and that's gonna leave us a lot of extra leeway. But then to complete our catching duo, at least for now, you do eventually want a catching trio of Pokemon with Smeargle, Breloom, and Spinda. But to complete our catching duo, I severely recommend getting yourself a hidden ability access Spinda. And thankfully, these are really cheap nowadays. The minimum hidden ability access Spinda used to be 200 to 300,000 Pokeyen a few years ago. Nowadays, you can get one super cheap, which is absolutely fantastic. You ideally want one with a plus speed nature. Probably Jolly is ideal, as you can throw off an attack afterwards, but it's not needed. The only thing you're doing with this Spinda, that's really expensive, wow. The only thing you're doing with this Spinda is using it to get off a skill swap with its hidden ability access contrary. You need hidden ability access on these Spindas for them to be usable and relevant. That's super important. But the main thing you're doing here is using these to catch alpha Pokemon. If you've ever fought an alpha Pokemon in PokeMMO, you know that in the battle itself, over time, they have this effect where if you fail to catch them, they will raise all of their stats by +1. That makes them very annoying and very difficult to catch. If you use Spinda at the start of the fight and you use the move Skill Swap, you can swap the contrary onto the alpha Pokemon, and contrary reverses the stats. So instead of all of their stats going up by 1 every time you fail to catch them, they go down by 1, which helps you manage the alpha catch significantly more. So because of this, you can literally spend just 8,000 Pokeyen and then also buy a Quick Claw, which is about 1,000 Pokeyen, but you probably have one in your bag, and then just go ahead and go into the alpha encounter until you see that Quick Claw activate. It might take a few attempts of like logging out and logging back in and retrying that alpha encounter, but it honestly should happen eventually and be pretty easy, and it's a really cheap way to get started on catching alpha Pokemon. Also, a huge shout out to Bonby, who's sending some very nice DMs in game. Much love to you, man. You're featured in the video now. Thanks for being a cool guy and play the game. Alright, but we now have about 140,000 Pokeyen left to spend, and if I were you, I would spend the rest of this Pokeyen on any kind of Pokeballs. That is how important catching Pokemon is still in this game, even though catching for profit has gone down over the years. Catching Pokemon in general, like alphas or during catch events, or just in general, building up your account, getting shiny Pokemon, etc., is still super, super crucial. catching Dittos, Nintadas, and Hoenn. There are still plenty of profitable methods, but it is very expensive. Pokeballs honestly cost a fair bit of Pokeyen, especially the really higher, the better ones, right? Now, the best two ways to get Pokeballs in PokeMMO, if you have Sinnoh completed, you can actually head over to any Pokemart in Sinnoh and just go ahead and buy all the best Pokeballs from them like this. So if you go over to this Pokemart, if you have Sinnoh done, you can grab your Timer Balls, your Quick Balls, your Pokeballs, Great Balls, Ultra Balls, you know, Nest Balls, Net Balls. All Pokeballs in PokeMMO have a use somewhere, except for maybe Heal Balls. There are some niche ones. Heal Ball is not that good. It's mostly only used in like Nuzlocks for the most part, but everything else, there really is a use for almost anything. Dream Balls are quite good. Everything is worth having at least a few of. But you can buy Pokeballs over in Sinnoh and any of the Pokemarts if you have the region completed, or you can head over to Unova, fly over to Oplucid City right here up the top middle, head to the west over to the left route over here, and just keep heading through this tunnel. And then once you reach over here, head north into this giant building, and this is the shopping mall of Unova. And you should be able to buy a lot of Pokeballs up here, as well as some basic ones down here. Here you can buy Heal Balls, Net Balls, Nest Balls, Dust Balls, Timer Balls, Quick Balls, Repeat Balls, Luxury Balls, and Dream Balls. As well as heading down here, you will find your Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls. I would go ahead and just recommend at least getting 100 Pokeballs to start for 20,000 Pokeyen. 100 Pokeballs are very, very important. And then getting something like, so let's go step by step and count through all the numbers. I would definitely start with at least 100 Pokeballs, which that's going to cost you 20,000 Pokeyen. And that's going to bring our total so far up to 883,000. I would then go ahead and buy 20 Great Balls and like 10 Ultra Balls. Obviously, you would like more of that in the future, but I think for now, that's totally okay. Those will be the best balls to catch certain Pokemon in certain instances, but you don't want to overload on these, as Great Balls and Ultra Balls are a little bit nicher, as Pokeballs are really, really common. So 20 Greats, 10 Ultras. Now we're going to head up to the really important Pokeballs. You want a fair bit of Timer Balls for a few reasons. Timer Balls are going to help you, number one, catch your alpha Pokemon. They're the best ball for catching alpha Pokemon. Once you're past the turn 10 or 11 is when they reach 4 times catch rate. These are also crucial for roaming legendary Pokemon, which is most new players' entry to grinding in PokeMMO. Roaming legendaries are a fantastic beginner grind, and they really teach you what grinding is like in Pokemon, how difficult it is. I would get at least 50 Timer Balls, but really you want to be able to afford more. Let's just go ahead and get 60, honestly, to start. You really want to be able to catch that legendary Pokemon if you do happen to encounter it. So that's going to be plus 72,000. I know it's a lot, but it is worth it. And make sure when you make more Pokeyen in the future with your gym runs, your train runs, make sure to reinvest this into Timer Balls. You don't want to run into the legendary Pokemon and only have 20 to 30 Timer Balls on you. That might not be enough. That is how difficult the catch rate is of the legendary Pokemon. Now, Nest Balls and Quick Balls are very good, but these are only really good for catch events. And really, if you're a high-end player doing catch events and you're really willing to rip through some Pokeyen to win. So as a new player, we don't have to worry about these too much. As a new player, I would go ahead and get 20 Dust Balls, and that's going to bring us really close to that 1 million Pokeyen mark and put us at actually just over it. So you know what? Let's go down a little bit. How can we reduce this down? There we go. Get 15 Dust Balls to start, and that's going to bring us down to around 1 million Pokeyen flat. And hopefully, this video will be a good starting point for a lot of you players. Welcome to PokeMMO. It's an honor to have you. If you made your first million already, you're doing great. You're grinding, you're getting work done, you're making progress, and you should be proud of yourself. This game is a very difficult game. It is very grindy. It is not for everybody, but those who push through and have the endurance and the willpower and the energy and the free time and all those things, I think you do really get something beautiful at the end of it, and all the feelings and the friendships and the socializing and the building of your account is really something special in a long-term MMO like PokeMMO. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Make sure to leave a like on it if you did. That helps me out a ton and lets me know you actually enjoyed the content. Leave a positive comment. Those are really cherished. Subscribing to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. I do upload every single day. You can also follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. My Discord is down below if you're interested in that. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, allow me to put more effort and time into guides and videos like this. YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal and Venmo do go a very long way. More importantly, just thank you for watching. Have a great day and good luck in your PokeMMO journey. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I wanted to say thank you so much to everybody's name who is on this list. You really allow me to make the content that I do every single day, and I hope I can make it worth your guys' while and add to your PokeMMO journey. Thanks again so much for watching the entire video, and have a great day.